My name is Jill. Hi, how are ya? I'm streaming to a few different channels, so I'm super thankful for my guests that are going to be joining me tonight. It is going to be a casual, nice conversation with a whole bunch of wonderful ladies. I know some of you are super curious, so I'm going to bring them all on the stage in just a second. But let us know where you're watching from. And for all of my friends, e aí, gente, lá no Brasil, all my friends in Brazil, hi, how are you? It's been a long time, and I'm happy to stream here tonight. Oh, we already have some comments. I'm very excited. All right, so we are going to jump right into the show. Let me introduce all of these beautiful ladies.
What's cracking? You're look at Keely.
Hi.
Keely,
Hi.
you guys are so cute. So we've already got a. Oh wait, let me make sure my comments are big enough to read. Images by Gretchen is giving India a shout out.
What's cracking? What's up? What's going on? What's going on?
I said before our little sound check, India, I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
India's going to be on the stream, and
Yeah.
she's so good with the sound effects.
Yeah, I got you guys. Listen, come on. We gonna get it.
You're the only one, girl.
That's it. Keely's good with it too. We're usually really good with bouncing off of each other with the sound effects, so that's good.
That's
Be a
right.
party. Be a party.
All right. So this is what we'll do. I'm going to have all of you fine, beautiful, amazing, talented, powerful, strong women. Have I talked you up enough? I'm going to have you each introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, maybe where you reside, and then a little bit about your business or your what you do, especially as it relates to live streaming and video and all of that. I'm going to nominate Anna. Can you go first? Tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm so excited to hear more.
Okay, so my name is Ana Gil, and I am a video producer. I produce a lot of videos for my local clients remotely as well as live producing. I'm also a headshots photographer, and I am the host of my show, Officially Unofficial TV. I am also the co-host of ECAM Network's ENN, so it's ECAM Network News with Fulgence Henry. And I also co-host Building Blocks, which is where we teach the community ECAM Live how to design overlays inside of ECAM. I think I covered it all. Did I miss anything, my ladies?
So nice.
Yes. Oh, and I speak
Good.
Spanish.
Amazing.
Of course. Anna, so I love all of the building block videos. I think that they are just so helpful. So if you're new to the eCam community, get in there because you can really whip up a really awesome dynamic show that's going to be so much more watchable instead of just like a talking head or whatever. It's like you can really take what's natively in eCam and really just make it amazing. And you guys do
That's
such a
right.
good job. And the chemistry, though, with you two, though.
Oh, hey, we try.
I think they like each other.
What's that?
Hey, like, do they like each other? I'm not sure. Do you
I'm
think there
in.
might be something-
Inquiring minds want to know.
Spill the tea. I feel like you guys are definitely a thing.
Okay.
We've got some awesome people joining us. Dana's saying, "What's
Yeah.
good, ladies?"
What's up? What's up?
Gretchen's saying, "Quite the international panel. Impressive. Woohoo!" And there's so many awesome people. Look at you guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
King's in the house.
Yeah.
Katie.
Sylvia. Oh,
Hey.
Ecam, Katie. She's just. Can we all just eat her
Hey.
up?
Yes.
For
Yes,
real.
we.
We
We love Katie. Katie's the best.
Silver
Wait.
Love Katie.
lining.
Anna,
Katie.
can you and I
Oh.
make a heart like this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see. Wait.
We can-
Go ahead. Do the heart.
Your other one. Yeah. Can
Do the heart.
It looks like M.
that was a little, but okay.
Katie, you get it. We try to make a heart. It's a heart
Tried,
for you.
Katie. Tried for
Make
you.
a heart. You do what me and some of this is like Michelle and Callie and Dina and I. We make bat signals because we can't do hearts. So we bat
Make
signal
bat
each other.
No. I see it.
That's
It's
pretty
funny.
Kiwi, 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 kiwi,
Oh,
kiwi.
it's hard.
All right, I'm gonna break up the giggles, and I'm gonna let Stephanie. Will you introduce yourself? Tell us about you. Give us some highlights. What are you all about?
Absolutely. Of course. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Stephanie Liu. I am a live video strategist. I help brands and entrepreneurs go from unknown to unfreaking forgettable by leveraging live video. So I get my clients on the Fascination Fast Track. That way they could stay top of mind and tip of tongue. And these days, I'm really focusing on live shopping for clients. So I work with Fortune 100 companies on how to leverage Amazon Live, TikTok Live, all the things when it comes to leveraging live video and live shopping.
Nice.
Wow.
Bam. Get it. Get
That was
Get it.
the most. I can't even.
Right.
I have my master's in
pitch.
English, and I
That was
can't
her
even
pitch.
articulate how clear and precise and
Right.
that
I have my
good
moments, Jillian.
good
Introduce yourself.
talking.
That's the best you're going
She
to get
might be
after 5 p.m. And then it's all.
Keely, what did you say again? I missed that.
I was saying that, it's almost as though she's introduced herself before. She might be a
Right.
professional.
Yeah,
She might
know?
be.
very
A
nice.
little bit.
And little
Yeah.
secret, if you have not met Stephanie, she is a goofball.
Right. Right.
I have been thrown
Wait,
into
what?
the deep end with Stephanie's goofiness, and I love
Oh, you
it.
did it.
It's
Oh,
wonderful.
there you go.
That's so
Done.
funny.
There she
I
is.
officially have my permission slip. That's it. We're done. She said I could. We're there.
That's it. We're there. We're there. That's it.
We're there. That's it. Done now.
All right. So next up, Keely, will you introduce yourself? Tell us all about you and how we can learn more and all the things.
And all the things. Keely
And
Dunn,
all the things.
Discord for creators. You might know me more from my exploits as FH umpires, which probably doesn't mean much to you because you're saying, what's an FH and what's an umpire? Well, it's my field hockey umpiring group. And I've been pursuing that for a while, but now I've also added this whole Discord for creator thing because Discord's awesome. And if you want to know more about it, at me. That's what I'm saying.
Awesome.
See y'all.
Awesome. So I only knew Discord through my son, who's 12, well, almost 12. And so he told me about a Discord group before he had a cell phone I don't know, I think he had it on his Chromebook or something. And then I just joined your group when Doc was doing a live stream the other day. So I'm excited to get into Discord. I know I was kind of slacked out during the pandemic. And so I love the idea of community and really encouraging one another. And God, like there's so many different paths that I've taken that have started from just really good conversations with like-minded or complementary people. So
Absolutely. Yeah, you're going to
Discord.
love it. It's both casual and professional. It's super versatile. There's just so many things you can do with it. And I just love the accessibility. So you're, 12-year-olds, and I've got people who are over 70 in my server, and it's dope. So
That's awesome.
Yep.
I'm just going to jump in the comments here for a second. We've got a message from Tiago. He said, parabéns, ladies. Vocês não merecem só dia no ano. Congratulations, ladies. You don't just deserve one day per year. You guys deserve the entire year. Obrigada, Tiago. Thank you. Oh, man, we've got some really awesome people in here. Miss Felicia. Her and
Yes.
I are going to be
Felicia!
having a conversation soon. She's so sweet. She reached out to me. I'm
Love
looking
her.
forward to that talk. What's up? My friend Ivan's in the house. Thank you for being
Ivan.
here. Ivan. It's funny. He says, he's like, we were talking about you one day. I don't know. I mean, all good things, Anna. All good things. But he was like, I love how Anna always says, Ivan. And Luis. All right.
Hey.
So now up to the mic is my girl, India.
What is going on? You guys know how we do. What's cracking? I mean, honestly, after Stephanie Liu, I'm like, I don't have an elevator pitch for like that, and I work for a bank. But I will try to come up with something really close, really good. I'm India Delgado, the only India Delgado that you will find on YouTube. I'm a banker by day. That's actually how I started content creation. I teach financial literacy. I simplify the mortgage class, mortgage pre-approvals and all of that process. I transpose that now into tech and I simplify tech for you. I am doing 100 days of live streaming right now. And today is day 2, 97 more days to go. I think I'm going crazy. But that's what I'm about. I want to help you guys simplify and understand it and, just be on my journey now for the next 97 days to go because I don't know what that's going to look like once we're done.
I'm so excited for that. I love when
Yeah.
I love when people choose to say like, okay, I'm going to do a challenge. I'm going to do a 30-day
Yeah.
challenge. I'm going to do 100,
Yeah.
like whatever it is. It pulls me in, even if I'm not into the thing. Like people will be doing fitness challenge, and I'm like
Yeah.
eating popcorn, drinking wine. I'm like, you got it. Day 30.
Wait, what?
You keep that. Okay, you got it. You got it.
I like storytelling. I love it. So like someone doing a personal challenge, I might still look like this,
Right. Okay.
but that's fine. I'm here for them. So
I'm
I
about to make
can't wait to see.
this like right now. I'm like, where is my Giphy app right now? Because we're gonna
Right. What's happening? That's so funny.
Oh, all right. We've got hard-boiled English. I can't wait to go check out that YouTube channel.
Right.
Happy
Right.
International Women's Day. You are
Yes.
all awesome. Lady Power. That's right. So many cool people. Love it, love it, love it. All right. So, ladies, one of the reasons I wanted to do this chat was one, because like, I don't know, like I feel like I've creeped on all of you a little bit. Is that weird? Is that uncomfortable?
Creeping,
Not at all.
stalking, just a little bit
It's
stalking.
fine. I feel like I
Yeah.
know all of you
Mhm.
a little bit, and I certainly respect you all, and you all do so many cool things. Wait, let me look down. Oh, Stephanie, what are you doing down there?
Wait, which way? This way. This way. Here. Hold on. I said I was bad at
don't
this.
know where you're
I win no
pointing.
matter what.
Right. You're good.
So part of this was just like selfishly wanting to meet you all and get to know you all a little bit more.
Yeah.
Anna, like for example, I knew that you did photography. I didn't know that you specialized in headshots per se. I wish you were closer to me because I just had a bunch of headshots done in December, and it was honestly, it was such a great experience. I was nervous about it. Like I hate, like I hate the attention. I hate being in front of the camera. You
Do
know?
you really?
Ob-
Is that right? I
Obviously.
wouldn't. Yeah, exactly,
you.
Keely. Right.
I hate it. but like there's a difference between like this and like I embrace my like weirdness, but to actually get my picture taken, I was like super nervous about it, but it's been so helpful to have those headshots. Like honestly, my LinkedIn connections like increased greatly just by having a professional headshot. So can you tell us a little bit more about that and like how's your business with headshots? I just think it's super interesting in photography.
Yes, so everything that you said is right on, spot on. A headshot, just like I had a speaking engagement today, and I was actually talking about that, about how your headshot, because when we are doing business or about to do business with anyone, the first thing that they do is Google us,
Yeah.
right? And if they're super, super interested, they will go to LinkedIn to see what we're up to and what our presence is over there. And if you have a headshot that is either 10 years old, right, or is
Mhm.
cropped from a party that you thought you looked amazing on, but it's not professional, right? They might just take a second look, like not really pay attention if, because this is what I have experienced, right? So people go, okay, I need my professional headshots because I need to update my LinkedIn profile for a future speaking engagement that I have. So I
Yeah.
need to update this, right? So a headshot is for branding. Headshots is where you start, in my opinion. This is where you're branding yourself. This is where you're branding your product. This is where you let people know, hey, I am taking care of my brand. I'm taking care of myself, and I will take care of you because they can see that in your products. So I do feel this is why my field, I chose photography, one, to work with women, because sometimes, just like you mentioned, Jill, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know, I'm nervous, right? We
Right.
are nervous. We get nervous about taking our pictures because we're going to be on the lens, right? And we have all this crazy insecurities. So
Mhm.
I love bringing women they're in what I see. So through my lens, I show them what I see. And then when they see it, it's like, yes,
Yeah.
right? That's me.
Mm.
So yeah, that's
Beautiful.
Yeah, I was
mhm.
super impressed with the photographer that I worked with here in Massachusetts. And I mean, a good photographer will bring out your real smile, will bring out your real essence and personality. And I worked with JP High Tech to set up my new website. And I sent him the pictures. I'm like, what do you think? And like, he's like, that's Jillian. Like, that's you.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like, don't skimp out on that purchase. I mean, a lot of us too, like I take pictures. I do a lot of like senior pictures for students. I would not say that I'm a professional photographer. I don't often charge for a lot of the photography I do. It's more of a hobby. But even then, like people will be like, can you do my headshots for like LinkedIn or and I say no because
Right.
I don't want to set people up for like I will always point them to someone else because I want them to put their best foot forward. And I think it really is worth the money. I mean, I've spent a lot of money on a lot of stupid things, but I do not regret one dime on those headshots. I really like, they're so versatile. There's so many different options and I'm using them and reusing them. And I just think it's worth the investment.
Good for you. And I agree. It is worth every penny for sure.
For sure. So
Nice.
talking more about Women's Day. I didn't even really so I grew up with a dad that owns a conveyor company, material handling. So in the summers, I would often help my dad. I'd make a little bit of money on the side and I would help install conveyor systems, which is not a sexy summer job, but it was great. And being in that like material handling, like wearing a gross t-shirt, getting all like covered in dirt and like grease and doing that type of work, I think was really good for me as a young person, but especially as a young woman to be empowered and like, okay, we can't figure that out yet, but we're going to figure that out. And my dad really instilled in me this like can do, not yet attitude. Like I can't do that yet, but I could if I want to. Like I can learn anything. And I kind of see that in a lot of you and in a lot of females in this industry. And by this industry, I mean specifically like live streaming, video production, multimedia. And so I feel like a lot of these leaders kind of have that same confidence, and I'm certainly grateful for what my dad instilled in me. But does anyone else want to share kind of like, your background and how you find the confidence to be a leader or to even just be confident on camera besides strategies, but like is there something personal that like, like what I shared?
Yeah. I'll go just because I was trying to think about whether in my childhood I had a similar experience with my father. Very strong, traditional British man. My mother was a very, traditional housewife. But something about the way that he always forced me to argue for anything that I wanted or needed.
Hmm.
I wasn't given anything. I just had to demand and justify 30 minutes later playing kick the can down the street. If I wanted a new bike, I had to give a cost benefit analysis as to why now was the right time to upgrade and all
Wow.
kinds. So I think between that sort of just I was taught to be confident because I I had to be,
Mm.
and I was always just submerged in non-traditional worlds,
Mm.
I guess. I would go out and play fight with the boys all the time and throw rocks at people, and I was just a really aggressive kid, okay? I was very angry.
I was
So
just
I
a-
it's true, and I just fit in better in that world, and I guess that's one way to raise a feminist because I absolutely embrace that term, that lifestyle, and to me, it's a duty, and I
Yeah.
pursue it with that fervor for sure.
That's awesome. Do you feel like you're understood by others, or do you feel like you ever get crap for for being assertive, for being strong or opinionated, or for pushing back or anything like that?
All the time,
Yeah.
all the time. I get a
Shouldn't even
lot of crap.
hesitate.
I
Right.
know, like,
It's
what
like,
do you mean?
What?
I
Right,
can see
exactly. Do you know
all of
who I
your
am?
faces,
Right.
you know, like, yeah.
Right.
And, um, I think I've always been trending this way, but I just turned 50 last month and I honestly have 0 Fs to give.
Happy birthday,
0.
girl.
Yeah.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
Get a happy
birthday.
birthday, hot
Happy, happy, happy
tamale.
birthday. Feliz cumpleaños, Kili.
Gracias, gracias, gracias.
By the
so,
way,
yeah.
if I could just like look like you when I turn 50, that would just be great. If we could just, if I could just
Thanks.
look that.
Don't worry, all of the aging went into my knees. So I have like
You could do
105-year-old
that.
knees, and then the rest of me is okay.
What about any of you other fine ladies? You got any stories for where your power and strength and confidence comes from?
I mean, if we're talking about dads, and it's so funny, I didn't think about it until listening to you guys, and you think about right? A memory comes up, right? The way Keely said. And one of the things my dad always said was, so my last name is Delgado. So my dad would always say, Delgados are leaders, we're not followers. You don't
Mm.
follow what the other kids are doing, you're going to make your own decisions. And so I went on, and up until what I'm doing now, I've always been in a leadership role. So I was, an assistant manager, a branch manager, a store manager, and I feel like he ingrained that in me, and then that never like clicked until listening to Kitty. I was like, oh, my dad used to say that. And I think that he led me up to that, to really make my own decisions, but also to then lead people and to help people, whatever it was that I did in the different things. Because when I was at Radio Shack, I made people buy, like, right. So I'm in the best environment when we talk about gas, because I used to work for Radio Shack and I was the manager, and I used to train people how to sell all of the latest electronics. And here we are, fast forward. And I'm like, you need this Stream Deck because,
Came full circle. Look at that.
full circle, 100% full circle. Yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how like some of it is just, some of it can be passed down from generation to generation. Like my dad's kind of this soft-spoken person, but like not soft-spoken, but he's so sweet and he's so kind. But like that really empowered me. Both of my older sister too has that same like fire, because not because he was like, you're gonna be strong, but like in that subtle leadership in empowering us and like, yeah, you can. But those messages, however that comes across and whatever your like family dynamic is, it is so powerful. I find myself instilling that into all 4 of my crazy kids, mostly at the dinner table. They're like, I don't like it. I'm like, no, you're going to have a no thank you portion. Yeah, you can eat it.
Right.
You're going to try it, aren't you? No, I'm not I'm not that funny with my kids.
The thing that's most interesting about this, though, is that, Jill, India, you guys didn't say my parents were trying to raise me to be a strong woman. They were just raising us to be strong people. I'm wondering,
People,
Stephanie,
yeah.
do you have a different experience, or was it just more like you're just expected to be strong because that's what your family is?
Yeah. So if I were to properly introduce myself, I'm Stephanie Lopez Garcia Liu. I am the daughter of Esther Yumul Lopez Perian. I am the granddaughter of Cornacion Yumul Lopez, and I am the great granddaughter of of Amalia Garcia. I come from a strong heritage, a bloodline of women that have always fought for what they wanted. So as far as raising me, that was always passed on generation to generation.
Wow.
That we always put family first, that we work hard, and we are always strong, because as far as the women in my life, they've raised families. We don't always have everything. And so we were always taught to be resourceful. So if I were to say, like, where did that strength come from? It's in my blood, right? It's passed on from generation to generation. And I don't have 4 kids, but I do have a 7-year-old daughter. And those are the things that I teach her. And so even at this age, I teach her, I'm like, you are the daughter of Stephanie Lopez Garcia Liu. You are the granddaughter. So she knows
Yeah.
her heritage and her lineage.
That's
Nice.
powerful.
Yeah.
I got
dope.
a little bit of goosebumps on that.
know.
That like,
Well, because Stephanie, what is it? NLP coach, right? But she knows what she's doing. She changed her tone. She became
Dang
very
it.
somber.
I
right?
have my
Like, come on, this
moments.
is what she does. Like, listen.
I mean, like when you think about it, right? So over this past weekend, I spoke at an event called the Panay Empowerment Summit, and we were talking a lot about women in general and the roles that we play, whether it's in the workforce or in the families and things of that sort. But yeah, motivated minds is our identities run deeps, and it goes through the generations. And I think if we actually took the time to understand the traits that were passed down to us unconsciously,
Mm,
right? I mean, there are even times where I sat down with my mom, I was like, "So, what was your grandmother's name?" And what do you know
Mm,
about her? What was taught to you about her? And what do you know about your great grandmother? Because there's stories that get lost. And I think even just having their photos in the house, those are really important things to have.
wow, that's
yeah,
awesome.
I think that that's important. And I feel like I missed that. So both of my grandmothers passed away, and
Mm,
so now, right, like I'm in my 30s. My one they both passed away in my mid to early 30s. And now, like when I'm maturing and I want to know more about my heritage and my lineage and stuff like that, I didn't ask those questions.
Yeah.
And in our, like in my family culture, right? Like it wasn't something we spoke about. So we had culture where we would get together and we would celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas. And it was just about music and, hanging out and having a good time. But in terms of learning, I'm lucky that I even know what parts of Puerto Rico both grandmothers came from.
mm,
But in terms of like asking the questions that I would ask now of, so when you guys decided to come to Puerto Rico, like I know that they worked in warehouses,
Yeah.
right? But I didn't know more. Like I would love to have, I guess, maybe go back in time and ask those questions and find out more
yeah.
about
Well,
how we came to New York and the women and stuff like
yeah.
that.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think it'd be really cool, ask maybe your cousins know a part of a
Yeah.
story or other family members. But what's really nice is, the last time I was actually in the Philippines was probably in 1986 or so. But when my
Mm,
mom talks to me about where she grew up, all the different places, we now have Google Maps. And I was like, "Oh, so this
right.
is the spot?" And she's like, "I
Right.
didn't know that you could do that." And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Wow.
we're walking along a certain street, and she's actually showing me, "Oh, this is where your grandmother was buried. This is where your grandfather was buried." And
Oh,
so,
that's cool.
they may not have the photos from the Philippines, but now I could actually see what she saw. She's like, "Oh my gosh, that was the time where I climbed that tree in that clubhouse and I scraped my knee or whatever." And you're like, dang, technology is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got
Yeah. Wholeheartedly. Yeah.
a comment from Gretchen. She said, "My grandmother gave me her camera when I was 10. 55 years later, that camera uh, hold pride in place in my heart in every picture I take now." That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
That's so
Awesome.
awesome to have those. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in a tricky family situation where I have a lot of characteristics and skills and interests that relate with my mom, and I don't have a relationship with my mom. So for me there was a season, maybe the past 10 years has been tricky to like, how do I really continue to embrace my passions in music and teaching in Brazilian Portuguese and Spanish, and how do I continue to love the things I love and
Yeah.
be who I am with trauma tied to that. And so just I mean, not that this is anything I've ever shared on a live stream. I'm not gonna, but it's just it's okay. Thank you. I'm fine. But
I'll
it's
hug you. Yeah.
interesting, just like in talking about like family connections and the importance and to know where you came from and to keep the things that you want to keep and keep the things that are healthy and
Yeah.
make them yours, right? And then carry those things on, and then things likewise generational baggage or things that are not great, to be able to recognize those things or those habits or hangups or any of those things and say, okay, that's going to stop with me. Like, my kids aren't going to have a
Yeah.
mom that does
100. Yeah.
XYZ,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
I'm not going to have a marriage that does this.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ding, ding.
That's legit. Yeah.
My phone agrees. Yeah, the generational curses, right? There's a
Hmm.
really
Yeah.
fantastic book if you're really into this, because I'm seeing like all of the comments. There's a really great
Yeah.
book called "It Didn't Start with You," and understanding and realizing that the trauma that this is really geeky, but this I love this stuff, but some of the trauma that we experience is actually memorialized and remembered within our actual DNA. And
Mm.
so the theory of that book is that when you experience it at such a young age, then it gets passed on to your generations, because at some point in your body you had some type of trauma, a
Mm.
physical reaction to it, and it's tied now to your DNA. It actually changed your DNA.
Mm.
And so when you have kids and they have kids, it's all tied to that. Fantastic book, but it's a really great
What's it
one.
called?
So it didn't start with you.
Wow.
I read it. It's an amazing book. It is. I second that. It's an amazing, amazing
I'm
book.
gonna write that down.
And yes,
Yep,
yes,
adding
go
it to
for
my
it.
list right now. Let me go type this
It
and
is an
add this
amazing
in
book, and
right now.
it is so interesting. Just like Stephanie mentioned, it's, for example, we're in the crib, right, and we're crying and we're crying and we're crying, and we're not. Our needs are not met at that point, right? So we learn, right? So that goes into, okay, I cried, and I wasn't soothed, and I wasn't given what I needed at that moment. That is written, and then it gets written in your DNA, and the child's DNA. When he or she, right, when they grow up, they will get this reaction. This is why sometimes
Mm.
we really say, what the hell did that come from? Right?
Mm.
When
Yeah.
we ourselves react to a
When we get
specific
triggered
situation,
to something. Yeah.
yes, and we don't know, but that
Huh.
happened back then. Right? That happened
Mm.
even it goes as deep as when our children are in, when we are in the womb
Mm.
and our mother experiences some trauma, it gets in there because we're in there. So it's deep. It's talk about trauma and trying to figure that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, not sorry. I accidentally brought us there. I just
Right,
think
right.
it's
No, it's
Well,
great
that's
though,
okay.
but it's
That was a
great
turn
though.
of events, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and
Well,
and I was feeling sad for moms because we're all over here saying like, "Oh, dads," and I hope that my children can say something about, "Oh, yeah, my mom inspired me to
Mm.
do this and that." Because for me, it was the same. It was my father.
Mm.
For my father, I could do anything, right? So I'll be like, Poppy, I want to do this. Yes, me, how you can do it. Okay, Poppy, I want to do that. Yes, me, how you can do it. So there was nothing that
Mm.
I brought up that he didn't just say yes to, right? But it wasn't the same with my mother. My mother is very cautious, and so anything was like, no, 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 wait, you have to think about
Mm.
25 things that could happen, and I'm like, oh shoot. So hopefully I didn't pass that on to my children.
I want to I'm so glad we're talking about this, honestly, because like my kids are at that age that, like, I've got an 11-year-old, a 7-year-old daughter, and then my twins are 6, and like I I want to pass on healthy things. I want to be that mom that's like, yeah, you can do it. And I hope that I'm like that. But there are times where I'm like, oh, well, don't do that. And like, that's not practical. Or like, no, don't do that. You got to be safe, be safe, be safe. And like, I don't want to pass on like the fear of everything, because I feel like so many awesome doors have opened because of risk taking, or not risk taking,
Yeah.
but like taking chances, especially like in all this stuff that I'm doing now. I was a school teacher for 11 years before I started doing what I'm doing now. And I loved being a school teacher. And for a while I thought that's all I was going to be. And even though I miss my kids, I really do miss teaching. I don't want to do that again. I love what I'm doing
Yeah.
so much more now. And, but like taking chances and, working with different people and getting different ideas. I'm like, oh, I could probably do that. Let me try that. I think we all have that in us a little bit,
I wonder if there's something to be said though about outside of family forces and how important those things can be for children
Yeah.
as well. Because I don't have children of my own, but I have a niece, Ruby. Shout out to Ruby. She's turning 16 this month. I'm very excited for her.
Mm.
And
Awesome.
I have not I haven't been able to spend a lot of time with her. She was born in Vancouver and grew up there, and I get to visit, but really haven't been able to be there for any extended periods as she's grown up. She was just here this weekend with her parents, and we were sitting down for brunch, and sitting beside her, she's me. Like, she is me. And she is defiant and aggressive and argumentative and all the things that I really love about myself. I'm so motivated, but I honestly like love that about her. And she didn't she didn't pick it up because of my influence.
Mm.
There's something in these Dunn ladies that that is coming out in her, because that's not what her parents are like
Mm.
whatsoever. My brother is my complete opposite, and her mother is, yeah, just not like that at all. So she has been able to internalize and learn a lot of things that I think are essential for strong feminists
Mm.
from outside of the
Yeah.
family. And just coincidentally aligning with me, or maybe there is a lot of genes. I don't know, but I just think it's really interesting. And as parents, I wonder, you put so much pressure on yourselves to be the right teachers and the right influence, and maybe you don't have to be quite so hard on yourself, because there's a lot that they're learning from outside as well.
That's awesome.
I think
And
if you really think about it, your kids are seeing you become an adult.
mm,
That's the interesting thing, is that your kids now, they're looking at you as like, oh, you must have everything figured out. And really, we're like, what?
Right.
Am
Like,
I
say
supposed to
what?
have everything
Who?
figured out?
mm,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at that age, when we're looking up to our parents, our mothers and our fathers, and anyone that's pretty much an elder in the family, we look at them as if you have it figured out, don't you?
mm.
Yeah.
And really now we're at that point, and we're
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe.
And
Yeah.
you know what? And kids, it's just like, if you've ever made a mistake as a whether you have kids or not, like with someone that's younger than you that looks up to you, if you've ever had to apologize to your kids or to your nieces and nephews, or be like, you know what, I made a mistake there. I can remember adults in my life, including teachers, youth leaders, like so many people, when they've taken the time to explain and take responsibility for something that they made, whether they were a bad example or they were too hard on me or whatever it was. But those moments to tell people, hey, I'm still learning. I need to grow in this. I'm not strong in this. I need to
Yeah.
improve. I'm sorry I hurt you, and I'm going to work on that. I think
Yeah.
those are important messages to give to our own kids, and to give people
Yeah.
continuous, mommy's still learning. I'm not patient
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I say bad words, and I want to get better about that, but those are powerful messages to give to kids, boys, girls, doesn't matter. I think it's super
Yeah.
important. And wait, speaking of kids, Stephanie, did you need to head out? I know that you had a short window.
I am, yeah, my little one's just like, "Are you done yet?" You know?
Mama.
That's so funny.
She's cute, so yesterday she just turned 7, you know?
Aw, happy
And
birthday.
yeah, and to me, it's such an important milestone. I'll leave you with this, because we've already talked about books and whatnot, but when you were talking about, as young kids, they pick up on things unconsciously, right? Their values, their beliefs, their attitudes, they pick it up from how we talk to each other, how we solve conflict, how we run away from conflict, right? They pick up things from what we listen to, the music, the YouTube, all the different things. And so generally all of that is formed in ages 0 to 7,
Mm.
right? And so when she crossed that milestone, I was very much like, I wonder what you're now taking with you, because she's that's a milestone for her.
Yeah.
And I think, Jillian, you were saying at one point when you're asking yourself, am I instilling the values? Am I instilling the traits in my kids that I want to instill in them?
Mm.
And I don't know if you've ever asked your kids any questions like this, but there's this one distinct time I was having dinner with my daughter, and I just wanted her to know, baby, what's important to you about family?
Wow.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, what's important to you about, like, what does family mean to you? I know what family means to me, but what does family mean to you? You know what she said? She said, family loves you no matter what.
Mm.
And that was all I needed to hear, because at that point, I mean, I could have like kicked up dirt, gone somewhere else, but as long as I know that my baby girl knows
Yeah.
family loves you no matter what, then I know I did a good job.
Wow.
So having
Yeah.
said that, you're all doing a good job. Keep
Hey.
passing on your
That's
legacy.
awesome.
Keep building that. To everyone that's watching, reach out to the women in your life and listen to their stories, because there's a lot of stories about there of what we've accomplished, but so much of us, we didn't have someone take the time to listen to us or even
Yeah.
hear it, because we probably thought that
Yeah.
it wasn't that important, but really it was, because we remember those little things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks so
Those
much
little,
for sharing that.
yeah.
That made me that choked me up a little bit. So I'm
I
glad you kept
know,
talking.
right? Yeah. Well, one thing that I'll say too about Anna, I love that you do the photography, and I think it's so important even for women, because oftentimes, I just told you my lineage, I told you about the women in my family, they would only take photos waist up,
Mm.
because they thought that they were too much this or not enough that. And I think there are times in our lives, where Jillian was saying that she was taking photos as a hobby. We just got to step in front of the camera
Yeah.
Even if we're not perfect, if I don't have the perfect hair or whatever, I'm still going to show up because that sometimes, some people just need to see a different person in front of the camera. And
Yeah.
sometimes they need to
Definitely.
see the perfect version, or sometimes they just
Yeah.
need to see the crazy hair version or the
Yeah.
Snapchat filter, Be adorkable, be whoever it is that you are. But having said that, I'll let you ladies go tonight. Thank you so much for having me.
Yay.
Good
Thank
night,
you for being with
Awesome,
us.
Stephanie. Yay.
You're get it.
Bye, bye, bye. Just
Oh,
dropped off.
that
Okay.
was so
I
cute.
mean, blown away, right? Like, was she
Yeah.
not amazing? But
Yeah.
I want to pick up on that because she's talking about the importance of women being seen by the camera,
Mm-hmm.
by their families, and being there for their families. Let's face it, as creators, we have these big families out there. And as women,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
should be thinking about how we should be in front of the camera. We have to show our greater family, the community out there, a female face, and talk about a female perspective and have a female voice and be putting that out there in the world. I think that's one of the biggest things that we can contribute as creators towards
100%.
national, international Women's Day, Women's Month,
Yeah.
women all the time. You
Yeah.
know, just wanted to say that.
No, I'm glad you
Just
did.
Yep.
my
Yeah.
TED talk.
That's your TED talk. All right. Drop your mic. You're good. Go ahead. Do the mic drop. There you go. You got it. That's so funny.
I've got to jump in the comments real quick.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody who's commenting and talking. Sara, desculpa, eu sei que nós estamos falando somente em inglês, mas estou feliz que você está aqui com nós. So thank you so much for being here. Sarah said something earlier. She's like, wow, tô entendendo nada. I'm not understanding anything. Mas
Aw.
estamos celebrando as mulheres. É o dia das mulheres aqui nos Estados Unidos. So it's celebrating us females. That's awesome.
Dope.
JP High Tech. Hey, listen, you got to listen to the beginning of this video because I gave a little shout out to you because you're awesome and you've done such a great job. Doc's in the house.
You're
Well,
cracking. You're
What's crack?
I knew I could feel those eyes like boring into the back of my
That's awesome. So great to see you guys. Alicio, man, we do have such a strong community. That's one thing I've got to make sure, like I mentioned too, in the eCam community, and there's so many other content creator communities. eCam's my favorite because honestly, it's just like the most helpful, and like there aren't sketch bags. It's just like people are trying to learn and support each other and share in each other's victories and everything like that. But that's one thing, like I've been a guest on a number of shows that are predominantly male led, and usually highlight male creators, not as like a thing. It's just this industry tends to, guys, it's a little more male dominated, but I've never felt uncomfortable or different or small or handled at all. I have only ever felt respected and empowered and supported by everyone in the group. And I just think that, like, just shout out to eCam for setting that as an example, as a standard, as a norm. In fact, if we saw anything less than that, like, we'd be like, rare, you would see us come after it. And I'm just so thankful that I'm just super thankful for the community because I didn't really question my presence or my involvement here.
Yeah.
Like I never thought like, oh, can I play with the boys? I never even thought about it. And then I was on some streams and they're like, you're a female representing in a male dominated industry. I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it's important for us to acknowledge, not out of a sense of vengeance, but just to be real and to appreciate a different place like eCam. Just earlier today, I was in a Discord server where, a particular idea for, a software product that YouTube creators could find each other for collaborations based on geography. And somebody said, oh, well, there might be a privacy issue there. And I said, actually, there's an issue there that probably would exclude most women from using it, which is, security, because we're the targets of, if anything goes wrong, it's going to be us that get hunted down. So given that it's a really male dominated space already, this, this is kind of an exclusionary, idea.
Mm.
Yeah.
And there was an attempt to silence me. How dare you derail the conversation to go in this direction? And I'm neutral in my beliefs and all this kind of stuff. And I said, no, you're not. You're not
Mm.
neutral.
Mm.
You're talking from your perspective, and I'm telling you mine, and you got to listen.
Yeah.
Because guess what?
Mm.
I'm not here to be told that
Mhm.
this perspective is not valid. Guess what? It's your time to learn. You get to listen to me. And it was quite a conversation on Women's Day of all days. But, it's not fair that we have to fight these battles, but we will.
Mm. Yeah.
And I think if we keep being open and honest about our experiences and we show our voices, this is, we're moving. Are we at the tipping point? Who knows? But we got to keep pushing because we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do feel like I often apologize for what I'm going to say before I even say what I'm going to say at work. Like if I'm with my girlfriends, if I'm not even, it's not even a male or female thing, but if I'm with my people that I trust, I'm not overthinking. I'm just able to voice my opinion and know that like someone might have a difference of opinion than me. We might converse, we might go back and forth, but like I know that there'll be respect. But I find that when I'm in a more corporate setting, I'm too aware that I don't want to come across as emotional or excited. I don't want to, like it's
Right.
tough.
Yep.
It's tough. And because I'm hoping that I'm not going to always have to be like that. And I do push the limits, but then there's also like, what battles do I fight? And
Yeah.
am I choosing to be professional, or am I allowing myself to be handled? I struggle with that in corporate settings, truly.
Yep.
Like, and I work
Yep.
in government as well sometimes. And I'm like, oh shoot, I don't want to be labeled as unprofessional.
Yeah.
But I also get tired of being the bigger person sometimes. And I just want to
Yeah.
speak my truth and not be afraid of it. I mean,
Yeah.
who else struggles? I know I'm not alone.
Yeah. I mean, working in the bank, I go through that. I think I've been better. So I probably still go through it. But what has changed the last couple of years is my voice and my lack of care. I won't curse.
That's the gift.
Right. I was like, wait, this is not
Your
my
bucket-
stream.
Your bucket of F's is empty.
Right, exactly. But it was a huge learning curve because there's already so many eyes, right? So obviously being a woman, being a Latina, being a lesbian, there's a lot of boxes that I check off.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, and a big part of that for me in the corporate world as a woman is that self-consciousness that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
So for me, I have a huge amount of self-consciousness in corporate America before COVID. Now we work from home for the most part, but before COVID, I dress in suits. I wear men's suits. They're fitted suits, but I dress in a suit and tie. So I dress very differently than a typical woman in the banking environment that's heels and a nice fitted skirt. Not that there's anything wrong with it,
Right.
but if you have 10 bank women managers, I'm the odd man out when you put me in that picture. And so that's a huge thing for me with like building anxiety. And like that just, even to open my mouth, I'm like, are they judging me? Can they tell that I'm gay? That was a very real thing when I first started in
Wow.
banking was, do they know that I'm gay?
Yeah.
And even if it was a yes or no, I never asked a follow-up question was, so what? Right? Like because I never got past that because it was always, I was stuck on, what are they going to think? Do they know that I'm gay? Right. And so now here we are. I've been in banking 10 years and now I'm just like, I don't care. I don't think about that as much. I still think about my appearance because that's natural. That's human nature where people judge you on appearances. That's why I make sure that when I dress at a 9s because if you're going to judge me, you're going to judge me because I look better than you and all the men in the room. Right. That's the reality.
Doc's comment right here.
What did he say?
Very limited amount of F's to give. Very precious.
Right.
Those F's.
Yes, exactly. But what I've realized, especially most recently, I think it's been easier for me transitioning from being a manager to now just pretty much working for myself as a loan officer.
Mm,
So I'm not responsible for people under me.
yeah.
Without being responsible for people under me, it's a little bit different to have a different voice, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't need to set the example. And so, an example that I had a few weeks ago was one of my managers. We were talking, I was giving different ideas, and I don't think it was a negative way, but she tried calling me out on something that I didn't perform on.
Hmm.
And it was a fact, I didn't perform on it. And normally, and I think Jillian, you had said something, right? Like, do I remain professional?
Right.
Where's my voice in this, right?
Yeah.
And so I did take a minute to pause. And so learning to pause to collect my thoughts is huge.
Yeah.
And then I took a minute to pause and I said, I hear what you're saying. However, the program ended in November. I started with this bank in September. So there's no way that I would have been able to deliver the results that the guy before me delivered, right?
Yeah.
And then I defended myself and I said, and not for nothing, not to toot my own horn. We're starting the program now in January. Let's talk at the end of 2022 and we'll talk about my results then.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a huge moment for me
Hmm.
because I don't think maybe even when I was a branch manager or when I first became a loan officer, I don't think I would have defended myself that way.
Yeah.
I think I would have accepted her saying, because it was a truth. It
You
was a
would have
truth that I
you would have
didn't
defaulted.
perform.
Yeah. Sure.
And I would have been like, okay, you're right. And then left it alone. But then this time I paused and I was like, nah, F that. Like, I'm going to tell
Yeah.
you, you're right. But then there's more to it. We need to talk about the whole story. If you're going to call me out, let's talk about this whole story
Right.
because there's more to it. Right. But
Giving
it's
yourself
hard.
that pause, and
Yeah.
it's tough to do those pauses.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
really is, but it's so important because you don't want to respond, male or female, doesn't matter. You don't want to
Yep.
respond right from your emotions,
Yeah.
right? Like even my husband and I, if we have disagreements, like having a pause, having a break and being like, okay, when you said this,
Yeah.
this is what it made me feel and this is where I'm coming from, but then also not backing down from your point.
Right.
And not just doing the easy thing, which would be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I need to work on
I'll
that.
do better this year.
I'm so
Exactly.
sorry about
I'll
that.
do better. Right.
I mean,
Or
there's
I'm so sorry. Exactly. I'm sorry that I didn't hit my goals. And you want me to heal a year's worth of right? You apologize for that. And Keely, your head popped up with that because I know you feel all kinds of ways with that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that whole impulse to apologize is just,
Right.
it's so strong. And I DM'd the server owner a
Yeah.
couple hours after this discussion, and I had paused for the cause in that moment, in that
Yeah.
discussion, and said, nah, F it, I'm doing this.
Right.
Like I'm
Right.
not, I'm gonna do it. And then I DM'd the server owner and I said, I am doing everything I can to not apologize. So I
Yeah.
am not apologizing. I am not sorry for what I said. I know that it was disruptive. I know it was negative. I know it was uncomfortable. But you know what's worse? Not saying anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I chose the path that is truest to my principles,
Yeah.
Yeah.
truest to my mission in being here. And how do you like them apples? So that was
Right.
kind of it. And that was so hard. I'm Canadian. I wanted to
Right.
apologize so badly.
Felicia says in coaching, we call it the pregnant
Pregnant
pause.
pause. Yeah.
Pregnant pause.
Yeah.
Anna, I know you've got to have some opinions and experiences related to this. And also, are you kind of mostly running your own thing now? Like, I'm super curious about, like, I'm still in the corporate world and building my personal stuff on the side and not sure if I want to stay here in security or go for it. So I'm curious about people that are more entrepreneurial and owning their own thing. Is that you?
Yeah, so I am definitely an entrepreneur. I'm like completely unemployable. Like I cannot go to corporate. Like I could not work for corporate again, especially especially for everything that you ladies have
Right.
mentioned, right? And I just can't do it. I do work well with others because I understand, where perspectives but that doesn't mean that I have to deal with it, right? And that's
Yeah.
why I chose to just go on.
Yeah.
I own my own company and I'm a completely 100% commission, right? So I'm an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. I own my own business. So yeah, it's tough. And like you, Jill, you know, I was in corporate and then I decided, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do my exit plan, and I was in sales. So I said, okay, I need to have this amount of money before I actually quit. So I had to, you know, I set up my goal to do it, and then I accomplished that in about 5 months, and then
Wow.
I quit, and then I've had my business ever since, and thank God
Nice.
it's been great.
That's
That's
Yeah.
dope.
awesome.
Mhm.
Felicia's with you. She's like, I will not
Ever.
work in
Yes, it's just, and I mean,
Ever.
like, there's some people, right, that they're okay being in corporate.
Yeah.
They're okay being there. Yeah, but I'm definitely not one of them. I like, yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wonder if
It's
we'll
Yeah.
ever get to a point where those of us who are all who are unemployable, I definitely fit in that category as well. But I wonder if we get to a point where things shift enough that we all don't tolerate the same things, and
Mm.
so we all
Right.
shape the same things in our own cultures,
Yeah.
and our businesses are for the people who would be unemployable, and
Mm.
especially the women
Yeah.
who would be unemployable, because we don't go by those rules. We go
Right.
by these good principles.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, like it would be great if we could get to that point, because I think Doc said it a few days ago, not everybody can be on their own. Like somebody's got to be employees.
Right.
Otherwise,
Right.
no scale. There is no scale in the world. So I think about that for the future, and I hope we're going there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to make sure. Edvaldo, oi, tudo bem? Tudo jóia com você? Eu quero falar oi para São Paulo. So Edvaldo's made a few comments and he's like, hey, you got to say hi. Say hi to São Paulo for me. So I had to make sure I did that.
Well, hello.
E aí,
Hello.
São
Hello.
Paulo? I have a story. I was working in a school as a high school teacher. I was not a new teacher. I had been there for 8 years, and there was a new principal, which will remain nameless. Anyway, doesn't work there anymore. But there
Right.
was an issue with him being just super condescending, and of all my triggers, and maybe I shouldn't share this because then if anybody wants to
Right.
like tick me off, they'll know. But like handling me and being condescending actually is a big problem for me. I
Yeah.
just like it goes right through me, and like
Yeah.
I cannot always keep my composure. Anyways, so I had this issue with this principal. And we were talking about something. I wasn't in trouble. I can't even remember what the conversation was, but he said something super condescending, and I had the choice because he was doing it over and over and over again. Now we would call them microaggressions for sure, but
Yeah.
he was just
Yeah.
being awful. So finally I was like, you know what? You're being really condescending. I don't appreciate that. And he went, oh, really? How am I being condescending, Jillian? And I was like, that right there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did
Yeah.
you not right? Like what? What?
That right there.
Dang.
So
What?
to make it better, I won't say the next day, but soon thereafter, I was teaching, and it was a year where there was different transitions in the district. So I had taught at the high school for 8 years, and or even longer than that. And so he came to my classroom one day, pulled me out in the hall, said, Jillian, can I speak with you? By the way, everybody called me Jill. So like him even calling me Jillian was like a move.
Right. Right.
I mean,
Right.
I go by Jillian, but like, you know what I mean? Like the subtleties. It's like calling me
Right.
sweetheart. Anyway, so he pulled me
Right.
on the hall and he's like, hey, so I can you can either volunteer to go work at the middle school next year, or I can tell you that you're going. Which one would you like?
No.
Now, because of the situation, had I
Yeah.
not volunteered to go, someone else would have lost their position because they weren't certified to teach that. So I did teach at that. I did end up moving to the middle school for a year, which was heartbreaking for me because I so loved my job at the high school. I didn't want to leave my kids, like it was one of the hardest years ever dealing with that bullshit. Oops, there it goes. It was awful. But you know what? Like he didn't stay long. He was gone that next year, as was anybody else that like we've had some other leadership in the school district that those people that handle people, that are condescending, that are demeaning, that will be like, yeah, no, that's great, except maybe like
It comes back around.
it does. It
Yeah.
100% does. And I think
Yeah.
most of the time I intentionally choose to be the bigger person.
Yeah.
But as I'm getting older, I'm learning to be much more honest and intentional
Right.
about what I tolerate and what I absolutely will not tolerate. And
Yeah.
I think that's served me well. The one thing that I didn't learn well was to not fire off fired up emails.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I made a few emotional emails during that season of time, and my closest friends used to say, "Jill's launching grenades," because I would just be
That's
like,
it. You're done.
hit
Right.
send.
Yeah. I don't care.
They
Yeah.
literally were like, "Jill, did you let me check your email before you send it?" Because
Right.
because
Yeah.
I would have so much frustration from
Yep.
being handled, or like, "Jill, you're kind of a lot. Why don't we dial it back?" And I'm like, I'm an energetic person. I have attention
Right.
deficit hyperactivity disorder. I
Right.
do. It is my superpower. But like, when you get me, you're going to get a whole bunch of this, and you can tell me to dial things back without being a condescending bad
Right.
word. And
Yeah.
so I've learned not to, I've learned the pregnant pause,
Yeah.
and
Keep it
I've
in your
learned
drafts. Yeah.
to keep it in my drafts
Keep it
for
in
a
your
day.
drafts.
Dude,
Yeah.
keep it in your drafts, Jill. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
There's a lot of men who could keep more things in their drafts, but
where's the whoop? I need the sound effect.
Right.
She's not lying. We've got some awesome comments. I never want to be
Yeah.
that kind of principal. Absolutely. You know what? And just don't be. Just
Right.
like
Yeah.
Right.
every person we deal with is another person. And if we
Yeah.
have to give some people correction, or we have to
Yeah.
guide them, there's so
Yep.
many ways to do
Wait.
this
100%.
with respect, even if you don't respect the person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We don't always get to choose. Like even for entrepreneurs, sometimes you need to be able to, you want that job, you're going to have
Yeah.
to deal with someone that's not your ideal person. Now you can say no, like if you're being
Right.
disrespected or bullied or harassed or anything, don't tolerate what you don't want to tolerate. But
Yeah.
even if you don't respect someone or enjoy them as a person, you can still be respectful to them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Whew, I'm all fired up remembering
All
that
right.
awful
Get
interaction.
it. Get it,
Same.
girl.
Fussy.
All right.
I
Yeah.
write
Right.
those emails, get it
Awesome.
out, just don't hit send.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
All right. Well, ladies, I don't want to keep you any later. It's already 10 p.m. here in Massachusetts on the
o'clock.
East Coast. But I'm so glad you guys jumped in. Like
This
was
is
Yeah.
great.
This is dope.
this was free therapy. Also getting to know you
Yeah.
It was a
more.
great idea you had, Jill. Like this, everybody at home understand. Jill made this happen. She was like, "Hey
Yeah.
guys," and we were like, "Yeah, let's do it."
More.
So
Guys,
Absolutely.
it's oh man, it's not about me. It's really
How you like that?
oh,
What?
girl.
I just
You're the best.
it's not a big deal.
Excuse
my
me,
God, did
ma'am.
you say it again? I'm not sure if I
Excuse
caught
me,
it.
ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. You guys still here? Oh, that's so embarrassing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm so annoyed. Oh, all right. Oh, my friend, really good. I do hit send though. My friend Steve
Oh, no.
Stover. Oh, Steve, I love you so much. Thanks for joining us. He does hit send though. It's true. But you know what? My friend Steve, you can hit send on all your emails because he's like the most authentic, caring, loving guy. So even if he gives you hard truth and you don't want to hear it, it's like, oh shoot, that was good.
Like,
All
damn
right.
it. Damn it.
Now I
Right,
have to
one of those.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
All right. Any final things you guys want to say?
You were great, everybody. You guys,
So-
all of us were great.
So
This is
good.
amazing.
Good.
We'll have to do this
Yes.
again. And
Yeah.
who do I get to meet in real life next week?
Not bad.
Anacita.
Hey,
Anacita.
mamacita.
It's just the top row going to California.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. Whatever. Right. Kaylee, which way is it?
That's okay. That's okay. It's we're gonna get a
Except
chance.
we got to
We're gonna
stay
get
in
a
the back and hold down the fort. That's all.
Right.
Go ahead and have a good
Right.
time. We'll hold
That's
it
right.
down.
Who's going to smash
Whatever.
patriarchy?
But we'll
You guys all
probably
go
see
solo
you.
banding to San Diego. There's a lot of patriarchy back here I got to take care of. All right.
Yeah. Or how we say,
We will-
Anna,
we-
Anna will tell
we
you
will
how we say
probably
para la
see you.
patria. That's it. We're going to do
Wait,
para la
wait.
patria. Don't worry.
Wait, India, what do you say?
Para la patria. Do it for the country. Para la patria.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
it.
Para
Para
la
la
patria.
patria.
Yes,
Para la
yes.
patria.
Yeah, but maybe we will see you too in Albany, right?
Is it you?
Maybe.
How far is that away? Look at you, Anna, trying to be like the mediator. Whatever. Yeah, exactly. Sure. 10 months away.
I don't know. I mean,
Wait, when is that? That's
I could put
when?
in my
It's
calendar.
in,
If
I believe it's in
I-
October or
In
September.
October. Yeah.
We
And
have
how many
time.
months away? Like 7 months away when the
That's
year's
a
already
road
over
trip.
and done
bro.
with. Whatever. I'm done with y'all.
Woman
Goodbye.
is salty. She's literally like,
Yeah, you
That's
see me, I'm
okay.
like, all right,
It's an
whatever.
empty bucket. It's an empty
What else can I
bucket.
do
They're
over here?
full of for India, so just black and white.
I nominate India to hold the next get together. You can host something.
Let's
Where
do
are
it.
you? Where are you? New Jersey? No, Delaware, DC. I can't remember.
Failed. You failed. Whatever. Just shut up.
New York?
You're done.
I forgot.
You're done. No, I'm in. I don't even know where I'm at because you listed almost every city in the tri-state area. So now I don't even know. I'm in Philadelphia.
I feel like I said that.
No, you did not. Did
No.
she say Philly? You didn't say Philly, bro.
I don't know.
You
man.
said Delaware. I don't know where you got Delaware from. You would have been
Pennsylvania.
better
Oh,
off
I
if-
said Pennsylvania.
You would have been better off if you would have said Connecticut, because at least that's closer to you guys where Angie's from. Because
Yeah.
I'm up there half the time, but no, I'm in Philly.
All right.
But yeah, we can host. I keep saying, listen, we can get some good cheesesteaks and have a good time out here. So I got plenty of space down here in the studio.
Let's do it, and it's live. But before we
Yeah.
sign off, we should take a selfie.
Oh yeah, we
So
should.
let's do it. Who's doing it?
I don't know. I'll do a screen.
Anna,
I have a
well,
shirt.
you're the photographer, Anna, with the idea.
No,
Yeah.
no. No, you guys like Jillian, you do it. You
Okay.
do the-
Jillian,
what?
you do. Let the
you
hobbies.
do-
Okay,
you
wait,
do
wait.
I'm like, you do the screenshot, the
Okay.
screenshot.
Okay, ready? I got it ready. Everybody look in the camera. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, now let's do a
All right, that
stupid
was
one.
good.
Oh my god, we're such nerds. Okay, let's do like unflattering. Our Zoom is frozen type picture.
Oh my god.
No.
Wait. I'm also
Are
like,
you ready?
You got
Wait.
Anna. You have to be uglier than you are, girlfriend.
Right. Hello.
I
Okay.
freeze.
I'm gonna do chins.
Right.
Okay, I got it.
Yes.
I got it.
Okay.
It's magic.
What?
I'm trying to think of a Zoom frozen face.
It's okay.
Oh,
It's
she's,
all right.
she's too cute. All right, people.
I can't possibly be ugly. It's so hard.
Right. I'm too pretty to be ugly. I don't know how to be ugly. Oh my God. No. What does that even mean? It's not in my vocabulary.
Me and Jill are just like, ugh.
I do have a sister like that I'm like, Francini, let's do a funny face, and she's just like, I'm like,
Right.
I always go for making myself look as fat as possible. It's
So
winning.
flattering.
No,
That
but
is
that's
so
the upside
flattering. It
down
worked for
camera,
you.
though. You know,
It
that's the
works.
upside down camera, the one you're doing.
Yeah,
Jillian.
That's it.
yeah.
Hold on, I
All
messed up
right.
my curls. For
We
real, for
ended
real.
on such a good note. I think
Yes.
I'm pleased. I'm satisfied.
Yes.
Good.
Exceeded my expectations. All right.
That's fantastic.
Love you
Good night.
guys.
Bye.
Happy
Good
It was
night.
fun. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Thank
Bye,
you.
y'all.